A storied past, centuries of Philippine-China interaction. The Philippines and China share a long and complex history. Ties date back centuries. Trade and cultural exchanges flourished. Chinese merchants sailed to the archipelago. They brought goods and ideas. This interaction shaped early Philippine society. Formal diplomatic relations began in 1975. This marked a new era. Both countries sought cooperation and understanding.
However, historical baggage and present-day issues complicated the relationship. The South China Sea dispute is a major point of contention. Both nations claim sovereignty over islands and waters. This dispute has led to tensions. It remains a challenge to regional peace and stability. Despite these challenges, both countries recognize the need for dialogue. They engage in various forms of communication. They aim to manage differences and find common ground. The future of their relations will depend on their ability to navigate these complexities.
Shifting sands. Navigating modern diplomatic realities. The 21st century has brought new dynamics to Philippine-China relations. China's rise as a global power has significantly impacted the region. Its growing economic and military strength has altered the balance of power. The Philippines, a longtime ally of the United States, faces strategic choices. It must balance its relationship with the U.S. against its growing economic ties with China. This balancing act is crucial for the Philippines' national interests.
Recent years have seen a mix of cooperation and tension. President Rodrigo Duterte's pivot towards China led to increased economic engagement. However, maritime disputes continue to strain relations. The Philippines seeks to protect its sovereignty while avoiding confrontation. It has pursued a dual-track approach. This involves diplomacy alongside a strengthening of its military capabilities.
A delicate balance, territorial disputes, and regional stability. The South China Sea dispute presents a significant challenge to regional stability. China's expansive claims overlap with those of several Southeast Asian nations. This includes the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei. The Philippines has adopted a firm stance in defending its maritime claims. It has challenged China's actions in international courts. In 2016, the Philippines won a landmark ruling at the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague. The ruling invalidated China's historical claims.
However, China has refused to recognize the decision. This has further complicated the dispute. It has also raised concerns about China's commitment to international law. The Philippines continues to call for a peaceful resolution to the dispute. It advocates for a rules-based approach. This includes respecting international law and the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS.
The Dragon's Shadow, China's growing influence in Southeast Asia. China's growing influence in Southeast Asia is undeniable. Its economic might provides leverage. Its Belt and Road Initiative has funded infrastructure projects across the region. This influence extends to the political and security spheres. China has strengthened ties with Southeast Asian governments. It has increased its military presence in the South China Sea.
Some Southeast Asian nations welcome China's engagement. They see it as an opportunity for economic development. Others are wary of becoming overly reliant on Beijing. The Philippines finds itself navigating this complex geopolitical landscape. It seeks to benefit from China's economic rise. However, it remains cautious of China's strategic ambitions. Section 5. Economic ties. Cooperation and competition in the region. Economic cooperation is a key aspect of Philippine-China relations. China is the Philippines' largest trading partner. It is a major source of investment and tourism.
Chinese investments have flowed into various sectors. These include infrastructure, energy, and telecommunications. This investment has contributed to the Philippines' economic growth. However, there are concerns about overdependence on China. Some argue that Chinese investments come with strings attached. They point to examples of debt-trap diplomacy.
The Philippines must carefully manage its economic relationship with China. It should seek to diversify its economic partnerships. It should prioritize sustainable and mutually beneficial projects. Section 6. Security concerns. The South China Sea dispute and its implications. The South China Sea dispute remains the biggest flashpoint in Philippine-China relations. China's militarization of disputed features has raised regional tensions.
The presence of Chinese maritime militia vessels in Philippine waters is a serious concern. These vessels harass Filipino fishermen and disrupt maritime activities. The Philippines has sought to strengthen its maritime security capabilities. It has increased its naval patrols and modernized its armed forces.
The U.S. alliance remains a cornerstone of Philippine security. The U.S. has reaffirmed its commitment to defend the Philippines in case of an armed attack. Section 7. The U.S. factor, a triangular relationship in the Indo-Pacific. The U.S. plays a crucial role in Philippine-China relations. The Philippines is a treaty ally of the U.S. It relies on the U.S. for security guarantees.
The U.S. has a strong interest in maintaining peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific. It views China's assertiveness in the region with concern. The Philippines' strategic location makes it a key player in the U.S.'s Indo-Pacific strategy. The U.S. has increased its military presence in the Philippines.
China has criticized the U.S.'s involvement in the region. It sees it as an attempt to contain its rise. The triangular relationship between the U.S., China, and the Philippines is a defining feature of the regional security architecture. Section 8. Charting a course, the Philippines balancing act between China and the U.S. The Philippines faces the challenge of balancing its relations with China and the U.S. It seeks to maintain close ties with both powers.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has adopted a pragmatic approach. He has emphasized the importance of dialogue and diplomacy. The Philippines has reaffirmed its commitment to the U.S. alliance. It has also sought to enhance economic cooperation with China.
This balancing act requires skillful diplomacy and a clear understanding of national interests. The Philippines must navigate the complexities of great power rivalry while safeguarding its sovereignty. Section 9. Looking ahead, challenges and opportunities in Philippine-China relations. The future of Philippine-China relations is fraught with challenges and opportunities.
The South China Sea dispute will continue to be a major source of tension. China's growing influence in the region will also test the relationship. The Philippines must find ways to engage with China while protecting its interests.
However, there are also opportunities for cooperation. Both countries have a shared interest in regional stability and economic development. Enhanced dialogue and diplomacy are crucial for managing differences and building trust. The Philippines should continue to advocate for a rules-based approach to resolving disputes. Section 10. A call for dialogue and diplomacy seeking peaceful resolutions. Dialogue and diplomacy are essential for resolving disputes and fostering cooperation.
The Philippines and China should engage in regular high-level talks. They should establish mechanisms for crisis communication and conflict prevention. They should explore joint development projects in the South China Sea. Multilateral forums such as ASEAN provide platforms for dialogue and cooperation. The Philippines should work with other ASEAN member states to promote regional stability. People-to-people exchanges can also help to build understanding and trust. The Philippines and China should encourage cultural and educational exchanges.
Section 11. Conclusion towards a stable and prosperous future. Philippine-China relations are at a crossroads. The two countries face both challenges and opportunities.
The South China Sea dispute continues to cast a shadow over the relationship. However, there is potential for cooperation in areas of mutual interest. The Philippines must carefully navigate this complex relationship. It must balance its ties with China and the U.S.
Dialogue, diplomacy, and a commitment to international law are essential for building a stable and prosperous future. By working together, the Philippines and China can overcome their differences and create a more peaceful and prosperous region.